So, Assalamu alaikum, guys, and second period. So, you, who want to read now?
Then मैं कर लेता हूँ.
Yeah, start reading. Okay, from verse
Once
2.
upon a time, two sparrows lived in a great sad tree which stood on a bank of the river, of a wide river. This on a wide bank of a wide river, they lived peaceful and happy life. They were plenty of
There were
there were
plenty of trees beside the river.
plenty of tree beside the river, but they like the sad tree best.
Please, madam, will you please let me correct him? Okay, move on.
Sad tree the best. Every year
Every year, the
sparrow build a new nest in the many hollows in the tree trunk.
in the
Now this
tree's trunk.
part of a river was a favorite swimming place of a prince. He loved ride and hunt after a hot, dusty ride on one of his fine horses. His he the prince liked nothing better than have a quiet swim in cool water. One day in the
The
spring,
prince liked nothing better than to have a quiet swim in a cool water, okay? Go ahead. One day in the spring, the mother sparrow laid some eggs.
the mother sparrow eggs.
Some eggs.
Laid some eggs. The sparrows were delighted. In the afternoon. They sat happily and watched watched the prince swim.
Very good, okay.
Watched the prince swim. The splashing about the river. When they returned to their home, to their nest, they found that their egg had disappeared. Disappeared.
They found that their eggs had disappeared.
Had disappeared.
They were most upset.
They were most upset and flapped about
And
making
flapped.
great noise.
And flapped about making a great noise.
The father sparrow suddenly saw the a tail of long snake slithering into the hole at that base of the tree. He understood what had happened. The sparrows fluttered branch to branch and made a sad noise that they woke their friend the owl up. He wanted to know what was going on, so they told him about the missing eggs and the snake. They told him every they told
They told him that they were so upset that they were going to leave the old
they were
tree.
so upset that they were gonna leave the old cell tree forever. The owl listened to their plans, listened to their sad story, and
nodded his head and rolled his eyes.
Nodded his head and rolled his eyes. Don't worry, my friend, said the owl.
Don't worry, my friends, they and all.
Okay.
You must thinking.
You must not think of leaving your nest.
You must not think of leaving your nest, going away because of that not horrid snake. Why don't you get rid of him? The sparrow looked puzzled. How wise? But how can we possibly do that? Asked sparrows. Please tell us Please tell us.
You're wise and can think of a
You're wise.
plan.
You're wise and can think of a plan. The owl sat and blinked his large round eyes. Go where the prince has left his clothes, said the owl. Pick up the prince's gold necklace and drop it in the snake hole. The sparrow did not understand what this was all about, but they trusted the owl and flattered, and they respected his wisdom. And the sparrows thanked the owl and immediately flew toward the prince's clothes and princess clothes and fluttered. The feather sparrow immediately flew toward the prince. The father sparrow picked up the prince's gold necklace, while the mother sparrow flapped her wings and screeched loudly. The prince's guard was sitting on the bank of the river. When they looked toward when they heard the noise, they looked toward the prince's clothes and were
Towards. Look
surprised.
towards, okay?
Looked towards the prince,
Towards.
towards the prince's clothes and were surprised. The sparrow, seeing sparrow flying off with the prince's necklace, the guard rushed.
The guard.
The guard rushed through. The guard rushed themselves and chased the sparrow. The sparrow flew around just out of the reach of the guard. At last, it flew directly over the snake hole and dropped the gold necklace into it. The sparrow flew safely up of the safety the search tree perched on a high branch. The snake slattered perched high branch. The snake, slattered by the arrival of the necklace, poked its head out the hole to see what was going on. Just as it did so, the guard arrived, and one of them drew his sword and killed the snake. That was the end of the snake. The sparrows were overjoyed and thanked their friend the owl.
The sparrows were
overjoyed and thanked their friend the owl and his intelligence. The sparrow continued living happily in the sad tree for many years. In the following year, the mother sparrow laid eggs, and the baby sparrow lived with their parents in the sad tree, where the owl watched over them.
Very good, very good. So now, who will be the next one to read? The next one. Who will read next?
सर कोई बच्चा हैंड ऐसे ये नहीं करता या कुछ बोलता ही है जैसे
Muhammad Riyab will read.
क्लास में अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sir, I will read.
You want to read?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can read.
The wise owl. Once upon a time, two sparrows lived in a great sad tree which stood on the bank of a wide river. They lived a peaceful and happy life. There were plenty of trees beside the river, but they liked the sad tree.
Okay.
The best. Tree strong. Now, this part of the river was the favorite swimming place of a prince. He
loved to ride and hunt after a hot just to ride on one of his fine horses. Is the prince like nothing better than a happy in
A
swim
quiet
in the
swim in a
cool
cool
water.
water.
One day in the spring, the mother sparrow laid some eggs. The sparrow were delighted the afternoon. They sat happily a branch and watched next they found that their eggs and despaired they were most upset and tale of a long snake slithering into a
Slithering into a hole ate the base of a tree.
slithering into the hole at the base of a tree. He understood what had happened. The sparrows fluttered from branch to branch and made such a noise that they woke their food. Uh, he wanted to know what was going on. So the snake they told him that they were so upset that they were going to leave the old salt tree forever. The owl listened to their sad story
Okay. And he nodded
and he
his head
nodded
and
his
rolled
head
his eyes and rolled his eyes.
and rolled his
Don't worry,
eyes.
my friend.
Don't worry, my friend, said the owl.
You must not think of
You
leaving your
must
nest.
think of leaving your nest and going away because of the rich snake. Why don't you get rid of him? The
Get rid
sparrows
of
looked
it.
puzzled. Get rid of him.
Rid
The
of it.
sparrows looked. The sparrows looked puzzled. But how can we possibly do that? Asked the sparrows. Please tell us you are wise and can think of a plan. The owl said, blinking his large round eyes. Good, where the princess has left his clothes, said the owl. Pick up the princess' necklace and
Okay.
drop in the snake hole. The sparrow did not understand what this was all about, but they trusted
But
and
they trusted the owl and they respected his wisdom.
but they trusted the owl and they respected his wisdom. The sparrow thanked the owl. It gave me the princess gold necklace while the mother sparrow flapped her wings screeched loudly. The princess guards were sitting on the bank of the river. When they heard the noise, they looked towards the prince's clothes and were surprised to see a sparrow flying over the prince's necklace. Guards roused him less themselves and chased the sparrow. The sparrow flew around just out of the reach reached the guards at last, but it flew directly over the snake's hole and dropped the gold necklace into it. The sparrows flew to the
Okay.
safety.
If you
The
if you
sun
can't if you can't read ahead, I will tell the next one. Okay, can anyone read? Boys, can anyone read? Anyone there? No one want to read? Okay, Syed, do you want to read? Syed, do you want to read? Syed, do you want to read? Why you people just two guys? They are participating
No, sir.
in the class, and rest of the guys, they are just silent viewers. Okay, spectators. They do nothing. Don't you have any interest in English?
No.
Okay, you don't have any interest in English. That's good. Okay, Ahmad, start reading, man. Ahmad. Omar Yunus. Start, man. You want to read Adam? What is
Yes,
it?
sir.
Okay, start reading from where he has left. Or you want to start from the start?
Sir,
Yes.
from where?
Okay, from the beginning. Start from here.
Wow is owl. Once upon a time, two sparrows lived on a great sour tree which stood above, which great sour tree. Two sparrows lived in a great sour tree which stood above the bank of a river, which once upon a time, two sparrows lived in a great salt tree which stood on the bank of a wide river. They lived peaceful and happy life. Happy life. There were plenty of trees beside the river, but they liked the salt tree the best. Every year, the sparrow built a new nest in one of the many hollows in the tree trunk. Now, this part of the river was the favorite swimming place of a prince. He loved to ride and hunt. After a hot, dusty ride on one of his fine horses, the prince liked nothing better than have a quiet swim in a cool water. One day in the spring, the mother sparrow laid some eggs. The sparrow were delighted. In the afternoon, they sat happily on a branch and watched the prince splashing about in the river below. But when they returned to their nest, they found that their egg has disappeared. They were most upset and flapped about, making a great noise. That the father sparrow suddenly saw and the suddenly saw a, a
Okay, slithering. Okay.
a tail of a long snake slithering into a hole at that base of the tree. He understood what had happened. The sparrow fluttered from branch to branch and made such a noise that They woke their
They
friend.
woke their friend, the owl. He wanted to know what was going on.
What was going on? They told him that they were so upset that they told him about the missing eggs and the snake. They told him that they were so upset that they were gonna leave the old factory forever. The old owl listened to their sad story and nodded his head and rolled his eyes. Don't worry, my friend, said the owl. You must not think of leaving your nest. Going away of that horrid snake going away because of that horrid snake, why don't you get rid of him? The sparrow looks puzzled. But how can we possibly do that? Asked the sparrow. Please tell us. You are wise and can think of a plan. The owl sat and blinked his large round eyes. Go to where the prince had lost his clouds, and said the owl, and pick up the prince's gold necklace and drop it in the hole. The sparrow did not understand what this was all about, but they trusted the owl and respected his wisdom. The sparrow thanked the owl and immediately flew towards the prince's clothes. The father sparrow picked up the prince's gold necklace while the mother sparrow flapped her wings and screeched loudly. The prince guard was sitting on the bank of the river. They heard the noise. They looked towards the prince's clothes and were surprised to see Sparrow flying with a spring necklace. The guard rushed themselves and chased the sparrow. Sparrow flew around just out the reach of God. At last, it flew directly over the snake hole. They dropped the gold necklace into it. The sparrow flew safety to the safety of the sad tree and perched on a high branch. The necklace, startled by the arrival of the necklace, poked its head out head out of it of the hole to see what was going on. Just as it did, the guard arrived, and one of them drew his sword and killed the snake. That was the end of snake. The sparrow was overjoyed. He thanked their friend the owl and praised his intelligence. The sparrow praised his intelligence, and sparrow continued living on the sad tree for many years. In the following year, the mother sparrow lays more eggs, and baby sparrow lived
Praised his intelligence, okay, not intelligence, his intelligence.
the sparrow lived with their parents in the sad tree where the owl watched over them.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. So, as we learned that this is a story about 3, 4 characters, and the characters are that one is a prince, okay, that he used to come to what? To swim in that cool what water of the river, and that is his hobby to hunt and to what? To spend his spare time over there by the river. And that day, the owls, okay, sorry, the sparrows, the next characters, they had laid the eggs, okay, in the nest, but when they returned to the nest, okay, at afternoon, they saw that the eggs were missing. So the father sparrow, he saw that there were what? There was the tail of a slithering snake. He saw it over there. So what happened? He he understood that what the thing was, what the story was. So they were really disturbed. They start shrieking. They start screaming. Okay, and screaming of them woke up their friend, the old wise person, and they were really disturbed. They wanted to leave the nest and go to somewhere else. Okay, some, but all advised them not to leave what the tree. Instead, they can get rid of that very dangerous snake. So there was a thing, and they were puzzled that how can we get rid of the snake? Okay, so the owl, he just gave them the plan and they acted without any question, just no objections. Simply they acted. Okay. And the plan was that you will have to go over there and snatch away the golden necklace of the princess, okay, of the prince, and bring it over here to the nest of the snake, okay, and drop it over there. So we saw that they did it, and then the guards, when they saw that the golden necklace has been what snatched away, or the sparrows has taken that. So what happened? They followed and they killed the snake. That was the story. And in this story, we learn that if we are going to work wisely, if we are going to act wisely, we can be successful. If we are not what to say, strong, if we are not that brave, but if we have intelligence, if we have wisdom, then we can conquer, we can outdid, we can out what run each and every one if we are working wisely, intelligibly, and if we are using our intelligence. So same was the case of that very Mr. All, okay, that he was an intelligent fellow and he rescued his friends, okay, and he saved their house and everything for them. He did a great job for them. So that was the intelligence of that great person, the all. So we can see as human beings, we should be much careful and somehow we can have, or we should have somehow more futuristic plans. So that was the story, guys. Thank you so much for being with me, and inshallah, see you the next day with the explanation of the unit, and then we will move
Allah
on
Hafiz.
towards the exercise. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
Bye. Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
सर
Yes.
आपसे आपको अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं, मैंने उससे बात करनी थी एक
What?
उससे बात करनी थी मैंने जरा आपसे
No, no, no. It's not possible. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz, sir.